What's going on, America? This is Kevin from Kevin's Corner. Just got done watching the State of the Union. It was pretty impressive. Donald Trump tried to unite the whole country, bring both sides together, talk about some solutions. Yeah. In fact, I think he went through the whole speech without even singling out parties as far as, assessing blame to the Democrats. Now, he did talk about some policies, but he never said under the Democrats' rule or under the Democrats' administration. He just kept it on policies. But he really did a great job trying to unite both parties together and bring the country together. But leave it to the Democrats to be party poopers and undo all the progress that the president just made concerning unifying the country. Yeah, pre-written speech by Stacey, what is her last name? Abrams. Yeah, pre-written speech. She don't care what the president said. This stuff right here was not a response to what the president said. Okay, this was a pre-scripted response to address all the issues that the Democrats selfishly have in their agenda and to undermine President Trump. He could have got out there and said, every one of the Democrats are amazing. Their policies are the best. Nancy Pelosi's brilliant. Chuck Schumer's honorable. Stacey Abrams should have won. She should have won. He could have got out there and he could have said all of that and she would have gave the same response because, see, they don't care what the president say or do. They don't care the fact that he's trying to unify the country. All they care is let's push our agenda by undermining his agenda. How are we going to get back in power if we act like what he said made sense? See, that's the whole agenda for them. It's all about power. So, of course, now she comes and becomes, the negative Nancy in this whole thing. And so let's listen to a little bit. Now, before I get into it, I skipped her intro because her intro, when you're doing a speech, you got to start off and you want to come out with a compelling story that everybody can go, oh. Yeah, so what she did is she talked about when she was growing up, Pa and Ma, they were just little small town preachers and worked in a factory. My father and my mom was a librarian and one day Pa didn't come home. So we had to go out in the cold. It was raining. We saw Pa walking. It was so. I ain't know we ever see Pa again. He was soaking wet and Pa got in the car and said, Pa, why you ain't got no coat, Pa? And Pa said, I gave my coat to a homeless man. Well, Pa, why you do that? All of that stuff. She had to come with all that story to make the people think I'm relatable. Yeah, stuff like we grew up poor, walked to school in the snow on my hands, not my feet. They wouldn't let us walk and use our feet. We had to walk on our hands with no gloves uphill, 25 meters, and all that stuff, So anyway, she gets through all of that gibberish, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, a little much on the antics, but if she would have just stayed there and made the speech somewhat tailored to just her and her experience and tried to piggyback off of the president's speech when it comes down to just setting aside some of the obvious differences and things like that between the Democrats and Republicans, she would have been cool. But then, of course, the theme music changed. It started off like, oh, then it was dun, dun, dun. We knew it was coming when the theme music changed. So let's see what she had to say.
The common grace of community that has driven me to become an attorney, a small business owner, a writer, and most recently, the Democratic nominee for governor of Georgia. My reason for running was simple. I love our country and its promise of opportunity for all.
Okay.
And I stand here tonight because I hold fast to my father's credo. Together, we are coming for America, for a better America.
Now, that's where she should have stopped the whole speech. She just said, pump the brake. Okay, everybody out. Get out the car. Get out of here. But no. She's just going to keep running through all the barriers. See, you got caution up ahead. You got all kind of roadblocks. She should have just stopped. But she's like, you know what? I think I can go ahead and make it. She's going to ride through it. This is when it all starts to go downhill for her. Let's see.
A few weeks ago, I joined volunteers to distribute meals to furloughed federal workers. They waited in line for a box of food and a sliver of hope since they hadn't received paychecks in weeks.
Okay, waited in line for boxes of food and a sliver of hope. You know, the dramatic terms, as if they were thinking to themselves, the government's never going to open back up again and we might just die of starvation and so on and so forth. I don't think we have the type of president, which he proved, even though opening up the government went totally against what he was trying to do. And people that were working for the government, a lot of them, and I saw some do interviews, say, I stand behind the president's decision because this is for the greater good. The long-term benefits to what he's trying to do will help Americans forever. But of course, she tries to make it seem like his whole goal was to punish American citizens that were working and give them slivers of hope. You know what? I think he gave them a lot of hope that maybe one day the Democrats might do something smart like secure the borders, because all of the people who's responsible for the borders are asking for a barrier or wall. Now, I'm just thinking out loud. To me, that makes sense. To me, a lot of those people had hope that finally we'll have a president that will follow through with what he said he's going to do. But let's continue.
Making livelihoods of our federal workers a pawn for political games is a disgrace.
Oh.
The shutdown was
You mean to tell me, kind of like what the Democrats do, constantly using American citizens, using poor illegal immigrants, using kids, using the gay and lesbian community. They will use whatever, using aliens, they'll use animals, they'll use climate, whatever they can do to get their agenda and get back in power, they will use them. So now she's talking about using people for his agenda, yet at the same time, y'all are showing videos of kids that are coming across the border and y'all claiming that Donald Trump is just dragging them or ripping them from their mother. See, you can't just, separate them. It has to be ripping. They can't use, normal terms. Excuse me, you're illegal. We're going to take your child and put him over here for a minute. We need to sort some things out. No. See, what they want you to see is, come here, woman, give me that baby. Shut up. Get her, grab that baby. Kid crying, Mommy, no, I'll never see you again. You're right, you will never see her again. That's what they want y'all to think. But nonetheless, the Democrats will exploit all of that. Yeah, throw them on Time magazine covers, even though those narratives don't fit, they're not true. All of that stuff, talking about people getting just sprayed with pepper spray and all that stuff. They don't care that these people are risking their lives to come here because the Democrat Party has given them incentive to get over here. They're running interference for them along with the dirty, nasty, crooked, funky liberal media. But she don't want to tell you that. She wants to make it seem like Donald Trump is the one that is using people for some political. Do you think, honestly, that the president is saying to himself, you know what? I just want an unnecessary wall so that I can walk away from this presidency one day and always look back and see that wall and say, look what I built. You think that's what he really wants at the expense of all of these workers? That's what was on his mind. That's what she's trying to say. You think he was like, you know what? Just because of my own ego, even though this wall is unnecessary and it'll never work, and regardless of what all the people that's working down there saying they need, it's not even about that. It's about my ego, about me just building this wall, and I'm willing to let people work for free and go without paychecks just for my ego. Is that what you really think? See, they could have done this and got it all over with by just doing what they're supposed to do, which is secure American citizens.
Engineered by the President of the United States, one that defied every tenet of fairness and abandoned not just our people, but our values.
Now that's kind of weird, because when you talk about abandoning people, we're talking to a party who hates the slogan, America First, or Make America Great Again. They want to throw up in their mouth every time they hear it. They see a MAGA hat and they go crazy. So what is she talking about, abandoned people? The same party that won't meet with any of the angel moms who got their kids killed by illegal immigrants. Last I checked, these were American citizens. Or how about the numerous Black and Latino people who were killed in America by illegal immigrants from MS-13? The liberal media won't interview these parents. The Democratic Party won't meet with these parents. Remember the first shutdown? Huh? Yeah, you guys were supposed to care about the DACA recipients. Don't forget that. Yeah, you were willing to shut the government down for DACA. and let our workers go without payment. Yeah, not for American citizens, but for the DACA recipients, which President Trump says, sure, I'll double the amount of DACA recipients that you want amnesty for. We'll double that, okay? So let's do the deal, right? What did they do? Bounce, because they didn't really want to make sure that those DACA recipients got over here and were able to live out the American dream. They wanted to use it as a talking point. So they have no right to be talking about abandoning American citizens.
7 years, I led the Democratic Party in the Georgia House of Representatives. I didn't always agree with the Republican speaker or governor, but I understood that our constituents didn't care about our political parties. They cared about their lives. So when we had to negotiate criminal justice reform or transportation or foster care improvements, the leaders of our state didn't shut down. We came together and we kept our word. It should be no different.
Stacy, I hate to tell you this, but those were all local problems. This problem of illegal immigration is not just confined to Georgia or your little area that you helped govern. Okay, this is a full-blown national issue and problem that's been going on for quite some time. And your party has contributed to the problem, not the solution. So we're not talking about some local issues that just can be hammered out. We're talking about an issue that is so important to the Democratic Party that they're willing to go to war with the president over and shut down the whole government because it's self-interest for them. They have a bigger agenda when it comes down to illegal immigration. That's what she don't want to tell you about. So all the stuff with the foster kids and stuff, you can handle that. You know, those are issues. Yeah, we give kids, make sure they got some food, some Similac. Okay, get them on, malnourished. We don't want them, get malnutrition. Get them some grub. But when it comes down to illegal immigration, this right here starts to creep into almost every area of our communities and our states. And look at the divided cost. This ain't one of them simple issues here. We're talking about state representatives that are willing to buck up against federal law and say, you guys can come here and hang out. If you get in trouble, just get over here to the promised land. We'll smuggle you in, hide you. Give your warnings if the feds are coming for you. Yeah, see, this right here is a serious issue, okay? And she has no solution except for bring them all in and let them vote. Yeah, we don't want to keep them out because that means we're racist.
In our nation's capital, we may come from different sides of the political aisle, but our joint commitment to the ideals of this nation cannot be negotiable. Our most urgent work is to realize Americans' dreams of today and tomorrow, to carve a path to independence and prosperity that can last a lifetime. Children deserve an excellent education from cradle to career.
It's about to go off the rails.
We owe them safe schools and the highest standards, regardless of zip code. Yet this White House responds timidly, while first graders practice active shooter drills, and the price of higher education.
Now, she always try to invoke the kids, bring in the kids. I think that it is the Democratic Party that is in bed with, the union. And when you look at schools in a lot of the democratically ran cities, they're garbage. Okay? See, I happen to know why the zip code makes a difference thanks to, the education policies. Well, guess what? If you live in a zip code where the housing value is low, then I'm sorry. It ain't my fault you can't go to one of the suburban schools. All the houses in your neighborhood is only worth $5,000. So therefore, we can't give a lot of money to your district. I'm sorry. Yeah, but I think it's the Republicans that believe in school choice. That's what I think, and the vouchers and stuff like that. And I think it's the Democrats who are bucking that because they're in bed with the teachers' unions. That's my look of just complete anger. I can't say that because I don't want it to be a cuss word. Anyway, so let's continue. Now she brings up the poor kids and the safety because our president and them, they're not doing nothing about the gun violence. So let's see.
Education grows ever steeper. From now on, our leaders must be willing to tackle gun safety measures and face the crippling effect of educational loans.
Now, what did she do? She just took a big smorgasbord of issues that the Democrats have and said, I'm going to throw it out there, everything, just throw it on the wall. Let's just go down the whole list of stupid stuff that we believe in and want to push into our society, like sneaking in some gun laws so we can get guns eventually. So what you're telling me then is that we shouldn't be running, active shooter drills with the first graders. Then you know what? When it happens and they're not trained and don't know what to do, then you be going, well, why didn't anybody put anything in place to show them what to do? Yeah. Now, I think it's our president that took away the bump stock for no reason. I think it's our president that brought everybody in during that last shooting in Florida and said, give me some ideas. What should we do? I got some suggestions. And y'all know those aren't suggestions. We want the gun. That's all y'all said. Forget any reasonable solutions. Give us the guns. Because those guns just jump off the shelves. They're like, yo, hey, AR-15, 9mm shotgun. Let's all meet today. We're going to jump in my Cadillac, ride down to a school and start shooting people. Yeah, the guns did it. It wasn't the people. So instead of a practical solution, the Democrats jump past all of that and go straight to the guns. So what is she talking about? She doesn't know. These are things that Chucky Schumer and all of them told her, hey, make sure you add this stuff in your speech too.
To support educators and invest what is necessary to unleash the power of America's greatest minds. Mm-hmm. In Georgia and around the country, people are striving for a middle class where a salary truly equals economic security. But instead, families' hopes are being crushed by Republican leadership that ignores real life.
First of all, it sounds like she's out of shape. She's breathing real hard just to give the speech. So either she's nervous or she needs to hit the treadmill. And I think it's the second one. But anyway, now she's going into some other gibberish about family struggling. And that's always the go-to. It's always the families are struggling. You know what? My gut tells me the Democrats wouldn't have any platform if they didn't highlight problems in every community, every area. Let's be honest. The poor, even the Bible says, the poor shall always be with us, okay? We're going to have people struggling. But my thought is this. If every person in America had $1 million, the Democrats would run on something talking about these families are still struggling. Because, see, that's what they need to do. They need to bring up problems, even if it ain't a problem. And my motto is don't make it a problem unless it's a problem. But according to the Democrats, everything's a problem.
Therefore, just doesn't understand it.
Okay, now
Under
did
the
you hear
current
that?
administration.
She said, the current administration. Now, understand this. You're talking about the economic situation of American citizens, which President Trump just talked about how all of these categories, the job, economic status has risen and unemployment has lowered in almost every category across the board. But every time you hear a Democrat get up there and talk about something, they always say the middle class is struggling. All of this stuff, I guess, all of these facts and these numbers and these statistics that the president's throwing out there, none of that matters. I think that if 90% of Americans were happy economically and 10% was still struggling, they would use that 10% and make it appear that is the masses, like they do with every issue. You got one person that might get attacked because of gender-neutral bathrooms, and all of a sudden this is a national epidemic because one person was told not to use that bathroom. This is a major scale. Yeah, it's always one case of racism pops up, and next it's just flooding itself across the United States. It's everywhere. That's what they do. They highlight stuff, and they make it seem like this is the norm. That's what it is. It's the norm. Let's continue.
Far too many hardworking Americans are falling behind, living paycheck to paycheck, most without labor unions to protect them from even worse harm. The Republican tax bill rigged the system against working people. Rather than bringing back jobs, plants are closing, layoffs are looming, and wages struggle.
Now, see, she throws stuff out like that, right? But I guess you don't want to say what plants are closing and why they're closing. Because she might take one plant like GM, for example, who's closing. But they're not closing because of the bad economy or the tax breaks or anything like that. They're closing because of bad business decisions. They decided to put all their chips on environment-friendly cars, thinking that everybody was going to want little teeny cars that look like roller skates. But no, Americans like the cars big, four-wheelers. That's right, we like it big and fast. And see, they betted on the wrong horse, and then that horse didn't win, and now they got to make some cuts. But that ain't got nothing to do with Trump's policies. So what is she talking about? See, it's the lack of information. They just throw out a situation real quick, but they don't give you no details, no background, none of that stuff. It's just, we just want y'all to all think that this is just, everything's just collapsing right now under this administration.
To keep pace with the actual cost of living. We owe more to the millions of everyday folks who keep our economy running, like truck drivers.
Now, you know what cracks me up about that? She talked about how the Republicans, they don't understand the hardworking people, or they just don't care. And then she talking about they owe it to all of the hardworking Americans, the truck drivers, the people who they forgot about when Hillary ran for president. Yeah, the people who Trump won over because he understood what they have to deal with. But when you talk to the Democratic Party, they might throw something like that out as a talking point. But who they really want to appeal to is people in California, the way they think, the people in New York, the way they think. They want to focus on issues like gender neutral pronouns. Yeah, we got to focus on climate change and the technology that we don't have right now, but we're willing to throw out trillions of dollars trying to get it. They want to focus on all of these stupid things and solutions like socialism. Let's just go ahead and destroy a booming economy. Yeah, with socialism. They want to focus on that type of stuff. And they wonder why the Midwest didn't vote for Hillary Clinton. So they're trying to tell me that they can relate. The same people who are pushing for open borders and aren't worried about the Americans that are being impacted by illegal immigration. Now, they don't care about that, but yet she claims that the current administration doesn't. Gizmo, you're going to get it. Scram. See, sometimes you got to smack that butt. See, just like Trump had to, no, bad dog. Ooh, you're going to get it. Gizmo. Anyway. So let's continue, see what she has to say.
Forced to buy their own rigs, farmers caught in a trade war, small business owners in search of capital, and domestic workers serving without labor protections. Women and men who could thrive if only they had the support and freedom to do so. We know bipartisanship could craft a 21st century immigration plan. But this administration chooses to cage children and tear families apart.
Wow.
Compassion.
Here we go. Yeah, they got to touch on all their issues. So now, of course, you got to move into illegal immigration because that's what they really want anyway. They want to bring it in, but yeah, she's talking about she understands the Americans' struggle and the inner, mid-Americans issues and stuff like that. But now all of a sudden, she's going into administration that cages children. Is she talking about the Obama administration? I mean, she didn't, I'm not sure if she was, maybe she forgot that was Obama who did that. Or how about maybe she forgot that Obama released, I think it's like 2,000 kids to, human traffickers and didn't even verify that they were their parents. I'm not sure if she understood which administration she was talking about, but let's continue.
Treatment at the border is not the same as open borders. President Reagan understood this. President Obama understood this. Americans understand this.
No, we don't. And she's not speaking for me, okay? I don't understand it because if Reagan understood it and Obama understood it, then that means it would be fixed. But apparently, nobody understood it enough to fix the problem. If you only understand half of a math problem, but you come up with the wrong sum, then you don't understand it. I understood the first 3 steps, but the second second half of the whole problem, I went to pieces. But here's an answer. It might not be the right one. Yeah, well, you don't understand it. All right, you got to show your work, and you also got to have a correct answer at the end. So what is she talking about?
Democrats stand ready to effectively secure our ports and borders.
No, you're not.
But we must all embrace that from agriculture to healthcare to entrepreneurship, America is made stronger by the presence of immigrants, not walls.
See, now, just like Trump said, he said we're made stronger by immigrants, legal immigrants. See, but see, what she's not telling y'all is that the immigrants that she's talking about is illegal immigrants. They like to use that term interchangeably. legal, illegal. Come on, let's not deal with semantics. It's just a couple, syllables here or there. Yeah, so that's what she's not telling y'all, though.
And rather than suing to dismantle the Affordable Care Act, as Republican attorneys general have, our leaders must protect the progress we've made and commit to expanding health care and lowering costs for everyone.
And I think that's what President Trump said. But what he's not saying is do away with all health care and put it in the hands of the government so we can just become a socialistic country and be waiting for months to try to get my teeth cleaned. How many months I gotta wait to get my snappers cleaned? 7 months? What? That's crazy.
My father has battled prostate cancer for years. To help cover the cost, I found myself sinking deeper into debt. Because while you can defer some payments, you can't defer cancer treatment. In this great nation, Americans are skipping blood pressure pills, forced to choose between buying medicine or paying rent. Maternal mortality rates show that mothers, especially Black mothers, risk death to give birth. And in 14 states, including my home state, where a majority want it, our leaders refuse to expand Medicaid, which could save rural hospitals, save economies, and save lives. We can do so much more. Take action on climate change. Defend individual liberties with fair-minded judges. But none of these ambitions are possible without the bedrock guarantee of our right to vote.
Okay, so here's coming, guys. Here's coming. With fair-minded judges, you mean liberal judges who's willing to push y'all liberal agenda and hold up the president when he makes some type of executive decision? Those type of judges, are you talking about those? The ones that'll let y'all just go ahead and allow anything to go in our society and just blow right through the Constitution. That's the type of judges I think she's referring to, okay?
Voter suppression is real.
Oh, no, it's not.
From making it harder to register and stay on the rolls, to moving and closing polling places, to rejecting lawful ballots. We can know.
Here we go again. It's always voter suppression when they lose. See, because the Democrats like real loose structures when it comes down to the voting setup. They're like, you know what? No, we don't need to. We got a problem. We think we were gypped. When President Trump got in office, he said, I'm going to put together a committee so that they can come in and look at all of the voter information. No, y'all need to come down here and do that. Nah, we'll handle it from a local level. You know why? Because they like it a little bit of sketchiness. They like that. They like, you know what? What's 1,000 or 2,000 votes here or there? See, so she ain't fooling us. Voter suppression. Ain't nobody's votes being suppressed. Only when they lose, it's suppressed. It's suppressed. I lost.
No longer ignore these threats to democracy. While I acknowledge the results of the 2018 election here in Georgia, I did not, and we cannot, accept efforts to undermine our right to vote. That's why I started a nonpartisan organization called Fair Fight to advocate for voting rights. This is the next battle for our democracy, one where all eligible citizens can have their say about the vision we want for our country. We must reject the cynicism that says,
do you mean all American citizens / illegal immigrants? That's what you're really getting at? See,
allowing every eligible vote to be cast and counted is a power grab. Americans understand that these are the values our brave men and women in uniform and our veterans risk their lives to defend. The foundation of our moral leadership around the globe is free and fair elections, where voters pick their leaders, not where politicians pick their voters.
Oh, you mean like how President Trump won, and ever since he's been in office, y'all been trying to undermine him being elected? You mean like how the American people spoke, and now all of a sudden y'all want to just abolish Electoral College because it didn't work out for you guys? Yeah, you mean like how y'all said, well, you know what, President Trump is going to have to accept the results of the election because if he doesn't, this breaks years of tradition of exchange of power and all of that stuff, and it's just going to tamper with our democracy. And ever since Hillary lost, y'all been saying that she was cheated. It was the Russians, not my president, undermining him, trying to impeach him. All of those things, you mean like that? Huh.
In this time of division and crisis, we must come together and stand for and with one another. America has stumbled time and again on its quest towards justice and
Get
equality.
to all of your issues.
But
Here
with
come another
each
one.
generation,
Here come
we
another
have
one.
revisited our fundamental truths, and where we falter, we make amends. We fought Jim Crow with the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act.
Okay.
Yet we continue to confront racism from our past.
By the way, all done by Democrats. Okay.
And in our present, which is why we must hold everyone from the highest offices to our own families accountable for racist words and deeds, and call racism what it is: wrong.
No,
America
call racism what it is. Democrats.
Achieved a measure.
Oh, my signal was
Petitions to harm women and families to advance a political agenda. We affirmed marriage equality, and yet the LGBTQ community remains under attack. So, even as...
You know what? What is she talking about? I mean, do you understand that the gay community have everybody on the run right now? And they're under attack? You mean they're attacking everybody? Is that what you're saying? Ask poor old Kevin Hart how he feels about the situation. And so what is she talking about? This is the best time in the United States to be gay. And she's they're still under attack. Give me some reasons why you feel that way. Give me some statistics and all that stuff. But what bothers me, and I tried to keep this video under 30 minutes, so I'm going to wrap it up. But what bothers me about this, then she tries to give some garbage, dismount on her whole speech by talking about, and after I just tried to undermine everything that the president has said and done, called his administration racist, talked about how they don't mind ripping babies from everybody, and how they don't support the LGBTQ XYW to the J negative semicolon group of people, all of them. Yeah, after I did all that, I still don't want the president to fail. I want him to be successful. Do you really? Huh? Do you really? That's like saying to your kid or something, son, you know what? You got 2 left feet. You can't catch. I wonder sometime if you can even see. I mean, they throw the ball, it hits you right in the face. You know what? You're totally uncoordinated, but I still want you to be successful as a football player. You just gave him 18 reasons why he sucks, but then talking about, but I want to see you be successful. See, that doesn't match. And if you get down to the bottom of it, the Democrats don't want the president to be successful because you know what? If he is, then they're not. See, that's what she's not telling you. If he's successful, then they're not. And so they're doing everything they can to make sure that doesn't happen. All right, so they can get back into power and continue being unsuccessful. Now, you heard her rebuttal, whatever that was. I don't think she actually even listened to what the president said. She just came out with her pre-scripted, speech. And just as I expected, it went off the rails right into nothing but garbage. But that's the party you're dealing with when you deal with the Democrats. So you've been listening to Kevin and Kevin's Corner. I tried to sum that up real quick, but man, it's a lot more to unpack in that garbage. But so check me out because I'll be talking about it tomorrow on my live radio blog talk show. The link's in the bottom. Also live on via YouTube. And check out Extreme Tees. I'm rocking one of their hoodies right now. The link is in the bottom. Click on that, put my name in the promo code, and you will get 20% discount. If you want to donate to Kevin's Corner, there's a link in the bottom. Do that as well. And don't forget to hit like, share, subscribe, notification button. And also, let me see what else I need y'all to do. Oh, find me on Facebook and find me on Twitter. All right, God bless you. See you next time in Kevin's Corner.